to use in close-up or parlor setting. Okay, so let's move to the cards. This is a curious thing. I could fill a whole lecture just on these subjects, but let me say this happened in 2019, just before the thing got loose, and my publisher, TCC in Shenzhen, who publishes all my card college books, the 5 card college books and the 3 light books, they're translated in Chinese. They managed to do this, the 5 books, I think, in 2 years. In English, it took about 3 years to get the first volume done. So, and so they invited me to do a lecture tour, which I've never done in my life. I always refused to do lecture tours. But I said, okay, I'll come to China. And I do 1 day travel, 1 day we work something, a lecture, a masterclass, a workshop, whatever, or a show. And the next day I look at the city, because that's very important for me. So we arranged a little tour. So I did 26 shows in 28 days, something like that. Yeah. And several shows in 1 day sometimes. And as part of that project, they said, well, let's do something which has to do with card college. And the obvious thing was to have to create a deck of playing cards. So that's what came out. I think what you got what did you get? A blue or a red? They come in, of course, as I said at the beginning, they come as a red deck. One is red burgundy. It's quite elegant.
Yeah, that's what we sent them the red ones.
The red one, okay, red, and the other one is a very elegant blue also. The disadvantage is they are not so easy to distinguish, but besides that, it's very nice. I make a few comments on that. And as a part of that, and just spend 2 minutes on that, as a part of that, Danny was one of the CEOs of was at that time the CEO of TCC, said, well, I wanted to do a special edition of Card College. And I say, okay, if you do these as normal cards, so we can use them, magicians can use it, you can do anything you like with my name and with the Card College brand. And so I'm just for a quick, I have to show this as a curiosity. So they came up, they put this on Kickstarter. Maybe a few among you have that. If you don't have that, so this was a box, and you can see it's beautifully made, inlaid, and so there's a drawer. There is a certificate in it, which tells the whole story. And there are 3 decks, 3 different colors. One is green, blue, and red. And these are, look, this is a sleeve that comes out inside. It's gold relief printed. Here is a pop-up effect.
Wow.
That will show the history. You can pull out the sleeve, and inside is a gilded edged a deck of cards, which has nothing to do with that one, which so that you have different, they are really designed. The 8s are a little bit, they're not really for magic, they're collector cards. And the back, don't know if you can see this. It's quite a beautiful back. So that was an extra effect. They have to read the manual to remember how to put that together again. So that was this, and they came up with different interpretations of that. And just show you one of them, which was this one. This is all made of cardboard, and also it has a flap where it explains the history of it. You have a sleeve which you can take off, and there is a tab inspired by the roof of sport cars. You can just go like this, and you have the 3 decks again, exactly the same here, sometimes with and sometimes without gilded edges. So you see, so this is the larger context of the whole thing, and they came up with 5 different interpretations of that. I spare the other ones, but just wanted to show you how nice this thing, in what context this stands. Okay, and what we got here is the normal deck. Actually, it's a 52 deck. I hope you open it. I have sent it to some friends who still have not opened it because, oh no, I don't want to open it. It's like, well, that's what the cards are for. You have to open them. Like maybe a few comments on them. There are a few special features. So there are actually 9 sides, and in this case it's 11 because 2 sides have a double use. So there are 11 sides. We thought about how to design them. So the front, of course, you have the logo, which reflects the American edition. Well, you have it. You can everybody. I assume everybody has the card, right? Then you can do a trick with that, which is written over here. If we have time, I'd be happy to show you that. Our job is Card College Playing Card. On the side, you have 2 quotes. Card magic is the poetry of magic by Johann Nepomuk Hofzinser. And on the other one, Aristotle's wonder is the beginning of all wisdom. A little motivational koan, let's put it. Then still on the side, on one side it says first, and on the other side it's 2019. Since I'm a wine drinker, I thought, well, and the book person, I thought the first refers to the first edition. So if ever there's going to be another printing, it's going to be a second edition. So this is the first edition you're having. So you have 10,000 decks have been printed of each color. So it's sort of a collector's deck, first edition. And on the other side of 2019, like the year of vintage, that's the vintage of the deck, like a wine. Then on the back, as you can see, like not many decks have that nowadays, which of course is very, very practical and also important because you can, and there is a cellophane, which in itself allows to do some things. But in the cellophane, of course, you can introduce up to 3 cards. Actually, if you extend, you can open, you cut it open, and with sellotape, you can make it a little wider. You can put more cards into it. So you can hide an extra or several extra cards in it. So you can add them later to the deck if you replace it into the card case. By the way, and I should mention 2 more things. The flaps, you see, the little flaps, one has 3 years, 92, 94, and 2003, because 92 is when volume 1 and 2 were printed of Card College in German. The original version is German. 94, 3 and 4, and 2003 was volume 5. And 92 is the year of birth of my first son, and 94 is the year of birth of my second son. And 1894 is the year of birth of Dai Vernon, and 92, the year of death of Dai Vernon. So I don't believe in numerology, but that's it, So there's nothing you can argue against that. And on the bottom, as you can see, there is the copyright thing, and of course the formula that many ask me, what is this formula for? Now, several of you, I'm sure, will know this, the Jmo Shuffle Formula. It's a run-up formula which you use in the Dai Vernon poker demonstration, for instance, and in others. And I show you a little piece afterward, which is unpublished. Actually, I published it in one of my Genie columns, but as you know, whatever is published in magazines is lost. So, yeah. So that's for the secret edition. Here is the way, because the thumb notch cutout. We call this the thumb notch cutout is of course done to facilitate the extraction of the deck. For this, the flap here has to be bent to the first crease. There are 3 creases, 1, 2, 3 creases, and all 3 creases have to be bent. So now if you have your deck here, you can easily put your thumb on the thumb notch cutout and the fingers on the other side or below. You can pull the deck out and get it directly into dealing position. So, and by the same means, you can of course add the extra card just by pulling it out, and now just pulling, what you can do is, let me first say something else. To pull out the deck with the card inside the cellophane, you can't reach in with the thumb, right? Because the card blocks that. So you just bevel. I don't know if you can see that. You just bevel that, and the card case has sufficient give that you can now enter with your thumb and just go like that and take it out, right? And if you want to take the card out, if it's only one, it's easy. But if it's more, you may want to pull that out, just pull it out a few millimeters, and now you can easily pull out the whole thing and add the extra card to it. Okay. So, and the way to add the card, of course, is you can prepare it. You do one or two tricks or whatever you have prepared with cards, then put the cards away as if the show was finished, or by do something with dice or with coins or something, and afterwards go back and take the card out again, apparently, and that's where you can add. So you can add little setups, you can add one or two trick cards, etc. So that's a very practical feature. And of course, you can do several tricks with that. So I'm not going to give a lecture on that, but maybe one really a very effective trick to do in a small group, at the bar or so, is Vernon's. It's one of the Gansen book about Vernon, staring him in the face. Now, this I'm just quickly going to show this to you so you get an idea. A card is selected, so a deck is shuffled, and somebody says stop. Please look at the card. You can see the card. Okay, it goes there. We shuffle the decks to make sure. We go like this. We shuffle like the American gambler, but actually the French gamblers would do this, called le mélange à la française. Okay, there you are. So your card is lost somewhere, and please, Susan, our spectator here, would you make sure there is nothing and nobody in it, no machinery or secret, whatever it is, and you're going to take the deck and put the deck into the card case like so, and close it like so, so you can really see nothing in my hands. The deck is in the card case. So would you please hold, James, you're my usual spectator on this side, James, hold the deck. Now think of your card in a loud voice. What was your card? Whatever it was, hit it, and the card appears, right? Okay, so it's staring him in the face. I must say, I haven't ever seen this trick before. It's a wonderful trick. It's really a wonderful, quick trick, and it's a nice technical construction. Also, it's very it's relatively easy to perform. I mean, relatively, like everything, it's not so easy, but if you practice a little bit and have good basic knowledge. The control I'm using here, I've been using it before, just want to mention it. It's in it's from Erdnase already, and in Revelations, Dai Vernon's annotated Erdnase expedited card table, he comments on it, and that's why I put it in the first volume of Card College. It's called the post-peak overhand shuffle control. So you're getting a break above the selection. Let's assume it's the four of spades. No, doesn't matter how it's selected, but this is a good selection, is to have somebody say stop. Now you look at it, and now you dribble the cards and retain a break. So you now have a break above or under the four of spades. And here is the ploy. The deck is brought into overhand shuffle position, and by doing that, automatically the break is going to be enlarged. It's a little bit of practice, but you don't turn the hands, but simply let the deck slide naturally into overhand shuffle position. And this is like this thing, you lift the cars, this car lift. When you hold the thumb like that and you go like that, the break triples. It's similar to the technique which is in Stephen Minch's Chronicles about how to enlarge a break. When you have a small break, Vernon says to go back and forth with your thumb, that will enlarge the break. Now the dynamics are the same. The handling is a bit different here. Instead of going back and forth, you just let the deck glide, and you have a huge break. So you can immediately shuffle that to the bottom, right? So it's a wonderful ploy, and it's now there. So it's important to have the deck, the card case looked at. Meanwhile, you get the break with your thumb, and here it's very well covered, just in the action of going like this, going like that, and doing like this. The card is stolen. The deck is introduced. You can close, and even from very near, you know, I mean, from the camera, of course, nothing can be seen, but even from very near, since we only perceive the whole, you know, the gestalt of something, the audience is used to this, and the rest is just give it to a spectator to hold with 2 fingers. You have to coach this a little bit, of course. You have to control the card. You have to, this is audience, card and audience management, of course. Hay que torear, as the Spanish say. You have to lead the bull. So you have to control that and make sure that he doesn't move. Hold not too lightly, not too hard. And when you hit that, oops, doesn't even work for my thumb. When you hit that, automatically you get, I mean, if it falls down, it's still an okay effect. But of course, what will happen is really that. And that looks amazing. Anyway, so that's one of the ideas that can be used with that. So now